Another big case is going to the United States Supreme Court on the Second Amendment, and this one, if they decide to take it up, could change things fundamentally across the U.S. as currently constituted. Stick by and check this one out. Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your source for Second Amendment news. I'm trying to get things going again, so please bear with me if I miss a day here or there, as we tend to the situation we're dealing with here at home. But I wanted to let everybody know about a case that originated in Illinois that is being considered by the U.S. Supreme Court right now to see if they're going to issue a writ of certiorari, meaning they're going to decide if they're going to take the case up. Now, this case is being brought forward by 9 defendants, and they're being joined by 3 Second Amendment advocacy groups. They're the Second Amendment Foundation, the Illinois State Rifle Association, and Illinois Carry. And the crux of this case is reciprocity. We all know that reciprocity is something that's a very touchy subject for the states, especially those like my state, which I consider a slave state when it comes to our rights. Massachusetts doesn't really recognize anybody's permits because we're the best, according to those clowns that run the ship on Beacon Hill. But reciprocity is a big issue. Much like our driver's licenses are recognized by every state, and that's not a constitutional right, that is a privilege from state to state. And if you remember, not too long ago, the U.S. Supreme Court told every single state that they had to recognize the marriage licenses for same-sex marriages that happened in other states. That was, they used the 14th Amendment to say that those licenses had to be recognized because it was an undue hardship to those people if states didn't recognize their relationship. Well, why, oh why, is it okay for states to be forced to recognize a marriage license, but not be forced to recognize a constitutionally guaranteed civil right? I think that's what's coming here. It's going to take a couple of cases, maybe a few years, to finally get that decision. Hopefully, maybe, who knows? But this case is the next step toward that goal. Now, this case, which I will have a link for in the description if you want to read it, the brief is 43 pages long, but it's challenging the fact that Illinois refuses to issue non-resident concealed carry permits. And it also refuses to recognize other permits from 45 different states. And that's regardless of the individual's training, background, history, etc. So you could be a member of SEAL Team 6, live in a different state, and Illinois, as long as it's one of the 45 that they refuse to recognize, Illinois will not recognize your constitutional right to carry a firearm. So if you're doing your math, like I did when I first read this, Illinois does recognize 4 states. So if you live in 4 states that they recognize, and if you're wondering what those 4 states are, it's Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas, and Virginia. So if you live in those 4 states, then Illinois says you have your constitutionally guaranteed right in our state. But if you live in the other 45, you don't get the right to defend yourself because. Now, there's a good quote from Gottlieb, who is the founder of the Second Amendment Foundation, and he says this. This is a case that literally begs for Supreme Court attention. When the court ruled in the 2008 Heller case that the Second Amendment protected a fundamental right, it was clear that this right belongs to everyone, not just the residents of an individual state. The Seventh Circuit held in Moore versus Madigan that the carrying of firearms in public for self-defense is a fundamental right. But under existing Illinois restrictions, that right has been limited to Illinois residents and the citizens from only 4 other states. As worded right there, perfect challenge. Now, currently there are 20 states that honor permits from every state, and that's the way it should be. It's kind of like a national concealed carry reciprocity, except you don't have the government intrusion. And that's the way it should be. My right should not be limited by a dotted line on a map. Now, if you're interested in paying attention to this case and finding out what happens if the Supreme Court takes it up or not, or if they schedule it for hearing, you know you're going to find it here on this channel. If you're new here, I cover Second Amendment news like it's going out of style, because you're not going to get it in most other places. And I also have other reviews, firearms, gear, and stuff like that as well. So please consider subscribing to Guns and Gadgets. I believe this would be a very beneficial channel for you to follow because the news comes out quite regularly on this channel, and you're not going to find it in most cases unless you find it here. So please subscribe to Guns and Gadgets. Please tell your friends about it. Until we see each other again, this is Jared. Be safe, stay vigilant, and carry your weapon. Take care, everybody.